fence, and they're coming into line. 3 miles, 5 furlongs and 18 yards of the trip. They have 24 fences to jump, and these experienced chasers have won over 148 chases between them, and well in excess of £420,000 in prize money. And they're on their way, and Gay Spartan swerves at the start a little bit and loses just a fraction of ground. But Midday Gun leads as they come to the first. A plain fence, Midday Gun from Scott Lane's, Gay Spartan on the inside. Then comes Earthstopper, and they're at the first, at which Gay Spartan led. They all jumped safely, including both Sea Image and Fishley Gamble, who didn't jump it too well. Come down towards the second, which is an open ditch. The first of 4 open ditches they jump. Gay Spartan in the lead. Gay Spartan leads from Midday Gun and Scott Lane. Again, an indifferent jump by Fishley Gamble, and that one has unseated Colin Hawkins. Colin Hawkins exits after fence number 2. He's okay, so too is the horse, and Gay Spartan leads from Midday Gun in second place. Then Scott Lane and King Gaddy on the outside of him. Then you can see there the grey Fishley Gamble galloping through the picture and away out into the country. But Gay Spartan in the lead from King Gaddy in second place. Then Midday Gun and Scott Lane. Then the top-weighted Royal Judgment. Behind these comes Grease Paint and Earthstopper and Drumlargan. Then Fetard's Friend, Shady Deal, Manton Castle, Prominent King, Owen's Image, and last of all at this very early stage is Sea Image. And they're going quite a sedate pace as they head away towards fence number 3, the downhill plain fence, with Robert Earnshaw and Gay Spartan showing the way to King Gaddy in second place. So it's Gay Spartan, King Gaddy, Midday Gun, Scott Lane, Royal Judgment, Earthstopper, Grease Paint, Drumlargan, Shady Deal, Manton Castle, and then behind these at the rear of the field comes Owen's Image, and Sea Image made a mistake at the rear. But Gay Spartan in the lead as they swing right-handed to go into the railway straight for the first time. Gay Spartan in the lead from King Gaddy in second place, and King Gaddy on the outside of Gay Spartan just shades him as they come to the first of 7 fences on this side. King Gaddy, an awkward jump there, but over safely from Gay Spartan in second place. Again, another mistake at the rear of the field by Sea Image. King Gaddy jumps up one well from Gay Spartan in second and Midday Gun third. Then comes Scott Lane and Royal Judgment and Earthstopper and Manton Castle. Then Drumlargan and Fetard's Friend. The leaders skip over that next fence, with again Sea Image towards the rear of the field, just making a slight mistake. Head to the water the jump for the first time. This is fence number 7, with King Gaddy in the lead. King Gaddy the leader. From in second place, Gay Spartan just comes to jump it now. Then Scott Lane and Royal Judgment makes a bit of ground. On the extreme right of the picture you can see Sea Image towards the rear. The first of the 3 railway fences on the far side, fence number 8, and King Gaddy and Vince McKevitt in the lead, some 12 to 15 lengths clear of Gay Spartan and Midday Gun, and Scott Lane and Royal Judgment. Earthstopper on the inside going the shortest way. King Gaddy skips over the 9th. The rest of them come to it, headed by Gay Spartan. They're all safely over the 9th as King Gaddy takes the 10th. King Gaddy in the lead from Gay Spartan in second place and Midday Gun third. Then Earthstopper and Drumlargan. Then comes Scott Lane and Manton Castle. And the back marker is now Prominent King. But it's King Gaddy in a clear lead as he turns into the home straight. And as that becomes obvious to the crowd here just how far he is in front, there's quite a gasp as King Gaddy, who's won 8 races in his career, bowls along in front, comes down to the pond fence some 20 lengths clear of the main chasing group, headed by Gay Spartan, and then Manton Castle, then Royal Judgment and Scott Lane and Grease Paint going well, then Earthstopper. This is the 11th. King Gaddy comes to it, jumps a bit out to his right, but over in the lead from in second place Gay Spartan and Midday Gun, then Royal Judgment and Scott Lane and Manton Castle and Grease Paint, and then behind these comes Earthstopper and Drumlargan. This is the 12th. King Gaddy skips over it, jumping it boldly and well clear from Gay Spartan in second place and Midday Gun, who's never really been out of the first 3. At the rear of the field, Prominent King went through the top of it. This is the ditch for the second time, the third one. King Gaddy skips over it safely. The main group come to it now, headed by Gay Spartan, and so the order as they take the uphill part of the track, past the stands with the circuit to go, it's King Gaddy clear from Gay Spartan, Midday Gun, Scott Lane, Manton Castle, Grease Paint, Earthstopper, Royal Judgment, Fetard's Friend, Drumlargan, Owen's Image, Shady Deal, Prominent King, and the back marker is Sea Image. And John Oakes at this stage, King Gaddy a long way clear.
He is indeed. This is what he was just about to try and do in the Grand National. He almost took charge of Steve Smith-Eccles going to the canal turn, and then, desperately bad luck, was very, very nearly carried into the canal by a loose horse, and not at all surprisingly fell at the fence after Valentine's as a result. So that he too is comparatively fresh after the Grand National. I don't think that will have taken too much out of him, but he does take an awful lot out of himself. He's a very free-going horse, and I must say I'm a little bit doubtful as to whether he can run so free and stay in the lead. It's really suited old Gay Spartan in second place. He likes to be up there, and he's had a beautiful lead from Keen Gaddy. He's gone into second place now. It's also suited Midday Gun, who's in third. Scott Lane is fourth. He's going pretty well, but as they close up on the leader going down the backside, there are very few who are out of it, and it looks like being a marvellous, hotly contested Whitbread as always. I still haven't lost faith for Gay Spartan, though, because he's gone on there past Keen Gaddy as they go down the back. Back to you, Graham.
And Gay Spartan in the lead. Gay Spartan, Midday Gun, Scott Lane. Then comes Grease Paint and Earthstopper getting closer. Just in behind these, King Gaddy, who made a slight mistake. Manton Castle, a mistake. Sea Image is still towards the rear, but it's Midday Gun who now ranges alongside Gay Spartan, who gets a slap down his shoulder from Robert Earnshaw. Going to the water jump for the final time. This is 7 from home. Gay Spartan in the lead from Midday Gun and Scott Lane, and Royal Judgment on the outside. These are followed by Drumlargan, and behind Drumlargan on the inner is Earthstopper. Then King Gaddy, who's weakening. This is the 6 from home, and it's Gay Spartan on the extreme left of the picture and Midday Gun. Gay Spartan and Midday Gun. Gay Spartan again a sloppy jump and again gets a reminder. So it's Gay Spartan in the lead from Midday Gun. Then Royal Judgment going well on the outside. He's jumping in third. Then Scott Lane and Earthstopper, and behind these comes Drumlargan. The last on the far side, 4 out. Gay Spartan in the lead from Midday Gun in second, then Earthstopper and Royal Judgment. And then just behind these comes Drumlargan, and Royal Judgment trying to come through on the inside of Midday Gun. Richard Rose got the run on the inside of Graham McCord as they swing right-handed to turn into the home straight. Grease Paint is beaten, and as they come into the home straight with just 3 to jump, it's Gay Spartan in the lead from Midday Gun. Gay Spartan, Midday Gun, then Royal Judgment, then Scott Lane trying to make up some ground. Owen's Image is coming with a run, coming down to the third last. It looks a very, very wide open race with Gay Spartan and Midday Gun and Owen's Image, then Royal Judgment and Earthstopper and Drumlargan, with Prominent King, who's made up a lot of ground from the rear of the field. 3 out, and it's Midday Gun and Royal Judgment. Royal Judgment under top weight, going on. Royal Judgment in the lead from Midday Gun in second place. Owen's Image is third. Prominent King steadily making up ground. That's the one towards the right of the picture, coming down towards the second last. Royal Judgment in the lead. Royal Judgment from Prominent King on the outside, and Prominent King on the outside comes through to take up the running from Drumlargan on the left. Prominent King, Drumlargan, then comes Royal Judgment and Owen's Image and Midday Gun coming down to the final fence, and it's Prominent King and Drumlargan. They take it together, and it's Drumlargan who lands the better. An amateur finish to this, the Whitbread Gold Cup, as Drumlargan and Mr. Frank Gold go on from Prominent King and Mr. Tim Easterby well inside the final half furlong. Drumlargan battling on up towards the line. Drumlargan's going to win it at the line. Drumlargan is the winner. Prominent King is second, then came Royal Judgment in third. A gap then to Owen's Image in fourth, and a big gap then to Shady Deal, who never really showed at all. Behind Shady Deal was Fethard's Friend, and then Gay Spartan and Scott Lane and Earthstopper, and behind Earthstopper a big gap to Manton Castle and King Gaddy. And so the result of this, the Whitbread Gold Cup, an Irish victory. It's victory to number 7 Drumlargan, owned by Mr. M. Cuddy, trained in Ireland by Eddie O'Grady and ridden by Mr. Frank Codd. Second was number 21 Prominent King, ridden by Tim Easterby, and third was number 1 Royal Judgment, ridden by Richard Rowe. Well, there's our winner, Drumlargan, the winner of that 11-1 of this Whitbread Gold Cup, superbly ridden by Mr. Frank Codd. Quite content. Looking back, I can tell you that Midday Gun was a faller at the last. Grease Paint has been pulled up. Sea Image has been pulled up. But I can tell you that Frank Codd content to bide his time well towards the rear in the early stages, but as they came down to the second last, it was a very, very wide open race. Corinthians to the fore, and let's review the closing stages with John.
Well, for the first time, the finish of a Whitbread is fought out between 2 amateurs. A pity, because they don't get quite as big a prize as the professionals do, but they won't mind about that. At this stage, the top weight Royal Judgment, running a wonderful race, goes on there. As you'll see, he makes a little bit of a mistake in a moment at the second last. This is the second last they're coming to now. Owen's Image outside him, but on the wide outside, Prominent King, and right on the inside, look at Frank Codd bringing Drumlargan up inside Royal Judgment. Royal Judgment just hit the top of that, but it's really the weight that's beaten him, and Drumlargan, producing his very best form, gets up the inside. At this stage, I thought that Mr. Tim Easterby, on his own, Prominent King, might be able to use Prominent King's undoubted speed from the last, but this isn't a day for finishing speed. This is a day for stamina, and Drumlargan has plenty of it. He jumps the last really well. Coming to it now, both of them dead upsides. Drumlargan the far side, Prominent King this side. Drumlargan just the better jump. He lands with a little bit more impetus. He doesn't do any running out like he once tried to do at Cheltenham, which made him need to be straightened. He doesn't need to be straightened today, and he runs on up the hill too well for Prominent King. Tim Easterby getting every ounce out of Prominent King, who's been qualified as a hunter this season, but he can't get to the Irishman. Drumlargan wins for Eddie O'Grady and Mr. Frank Codd, who's ridden him quite admirably. So two amateurs come home ahead of the top weight, Royal Judgment, who I suppose shares the honour. But there's the winner, Drumlargan and Mr. Frank Codd.
And his winning margin was 1.5 lengths and 6 lengths between him and the third horse home. Just confirmation of the result then of this Whitbread Gold Cup. First, number 7, Drumlargan. Second, number 21, Prominent King. Third, number 1, Royal Judgment. What a fine race he's performed under 11 stone 7. And confirmation that the fourth horse home is number 10, Owen's Image. Winning distances 1.5 lengths between first and second, 6 lengths between second and third. Drumlargan, in notching this extended 3-mile trip, was winning his 7th race and his 2nd of the season. And one of the biggest training triumphs for Eddie O'Grady, who first took out a licence way back in 1972, and there he is coming in with this 9-year-old winner of the Whitbread Gold Cup, who, with Frank Codd, managed to get a run through on the inside as the horses fanned out, coming down towards the second last. This fellow was able to come through on the inside and stuck that long neck out very, very gamely indeed to battle on up the hill and beat Prominent King, who there's absolutely no disgrace as far as he's concerned, because don't forget he was off 8 stone 7 in the long handicap, so carrying 21 pounds of unofficial overweight. But there is our winner, Drumlargan, and he's handily netted a further 20-odd thousand pounds, if not more, to his winning owners. They've already had some 20,000 pounds of prize money out of him. Mr. Michael Cuddy, the owner of number 7, the winner of the Whitbread Gold Cup, Drumlargan.